Most people think real estate is controlled by the agent. That belief has cost buyers and sellers hundreds of thousands of dollars because agents don't control the money, they don't control the legal system, and they don't decide when ownership changes. In fact, some of the most important people in your transaction are people you will never speak to. And if you don't understand who actually holds the power, you are making decisions blind. Stay with me till the end of this video, because once you see how this really works in Canada, you'll never look at real estate deal the same way again. Welcome to this 3-part mini series on real estate in Canada. In this mini series, I'm breaking down real estate into 3 parts that most people never fully understand. First, who actually holds the power in a real estate transaction? Second, the contracts that legally control the entire process. And third, how real estate commissions really work. This is especially important for people who are first-time buyers, are coming from outside Canada, or are comparing Canada to the US system, because Canada works very differently. You don't sit in a room together, you don't shake hands, you don't use escrow companies. Most buyers and sellers in Canada never see each other. Everything happens through professionals and contracts. Let's start with the obvious ones, the buyers and the seller. They are the decision makers. The buyer decides what they are willing to pay, what risk they will accept, when to walk away. The seller decides what they will accept, how flexible they will be on terms, what commissions they are willing to pay. But this is important. They don't execute the transactions themselves. They rely on professionals to move everything legally and financially. That's where the real power structure comes in. This one surprises a lot of people. In Canada, contracts are with brokerages, not agents. Listing agreements with the brokerages, buyer representation agreement with the brokerages. And then the deposits, they are held in brokerage trust account. This matters because your deposit is your real money. It needs to be protected, and it's regulated at the brokerage level. We've seen situations in recent years where brokerages have gotten into serious trouble for misusing or mismanaging the trust funds. So yes, you will like an agent personally, but you should always ask, how are trust accounts handled? Who is responsible if something goes wrong? That's not paranoia, that's being informed. Now let's talk about the realtor's role properly. Realtors guide strategy, interpret the market, negotiate terms, protect you from common mistakes. But realtors do not hold your money, transfer ownership, or approve financing. Their power comes from knowledge and experience, not from the legal authority. A good realtor keeps you out of trouble, helps you make calm decisions, and knows when to slow things down. Bad realtor creates pressure. That's a big difference. This is where buyers often get caught off guard, because no matter how emotional the purchase is, the lender controls whether the deal actually funds. A pre-approval is not a guarantee. At the end of the day, the lender decides if the property appraises, if your documents check out, and if the deal fits their lending guidelines. You can have an accepted offer and still lose the deal if financings fall apart. Now, most buyers work with a mortgage broker. The broker doesn't lend their own money. They act as an intermediary, much like a real estate broker. Their job is to structure the application, anticipate any problems, and place your mortgage with the right lender. But here's the key thing to understand. The broker facilitates, the lender decides. The lender doesn't care how much you love the house. They care about risk. That's why timing matters. That's why communication matters. And that's why you don't make financial changes mid-process. When the lender is aligned, the deal closes. When they are not, everything stops. Understanding that power early protects the entire transaction. This is one of the biggest differences between Canada and the United States. In Canada, every real estate transaction requires a lawyer, no exceptions. Why? Because lawyers have the access to Terranet, Canada's land registry system. Lawyers transfer title, register ownership, conduct title searches, handle mortgage registration, move funds securely. In the US, you often deal with escrow companies, the title companies, and everyone may sit in one room together. That does not happen in Canada. In Canada, buyers and sellers rarely meet, funds move electronically, lawyers coordinate behind the scenes. If you are buying in Canada and expecting a closing table moment, that's a movie scene, not a reality. Your lawyer's job is simple but very critical. Make sure nothing from the past becomes your problem at closing. So when you step back, you realize something important. No single person controls a real estate transaction. Power is distributed. Buyers and sellers decide. Brokerages hold money. Realtors guide strategy. Lenders control funding. Lawyers control ownership. When everyone understands their role, the process feels calm. When people don't, that's when things become chaotic. If there is one takeaway from this video, it's this. Real estate isn't about finding a house first. It's about understanding the system you're entering. This video is part of a 3-part mini-series where I break down the home buying process in Canada from the inside out. Today was about who holds those power. The next video is about the contracts, actual legal agreements that control every deal. And if you don't understand those contracts, everything else you do in real estate is built on assumptions. That next video is not optional, it's fundamental. I'll see you in the next video about contracts in real estate.